Welcome, Baccarat Nation. This week we're going to do a quick strategy session further examining the Martingale. Last week I posted a video called Baccarat examining the risk profile of the Martingale strategy part 2. I'll put a link if you want to click over to that video. Just George, he listed some comments which brought up some good points about he disagreed with my premise of increasing the bankroll and decreasing the units one per round to increase your chance of winning. He goes in depth to talk about the table limits. He brings up some good points. So again, I'll link the video so if you want to read through the comments. And his last comment actually spurred the idea for this video to take another look at the Martingale. So Just George wrote, thanks for replying, everyone who plays Martingale should start their bankroll with a negative amount they are putting at risk with every bet. Example, if you're using a 6-step Marty, start your bankroll at negative 63 units. 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 8 plus 16 plus 32 equals 63 units at risk. With every win, decrease the negative amount by the number of units won. You're not really in profit until that negative 63 turns into a positive number. And you know, that is a good way of looking at Martingale. So you know, let's take that premise, which is going to be, we're going to put 63 units at risk and dive into it. So for this video, let's assume we're going to shoot for 10 units per round. So that would take 6.3 rounds to win 63 units. So we'll round that up to 7, and then essentially you stop playing after you win the 63rd unit. So let's go over to the Excel sheet. So if we're going to play for $100 for the starting one bet unit, 6,300, that's going to be 63 units, as well as the bankroll, the amount of units we're putting at risk. Let's say that we're going with a $5,000 table limit. The tie bet pays out 8 to 1, but we're not going to use it for this. Alright, so if there's 75 rounds in an 8-deck shoe, that's typically what I play at the local casinos. So then 75 rounds times, it would take us 70 rounds, or excuse me, seven shoes of Baccarat, so that's 525 hands approximately. So, or 525, that would be approximately 7 shoes. Actually, I didn't program in the straight. Let's just play this on banker only. And so we'll continue to bet banker until there's 50 opposites, 50 chops in a row. Okay, goal is reached. So let's just take a quick look through this. Okay, looks like we hit the table limits here. So we did table limits 5,000. So the way that this sheet is programmed is after you hit the table limits, instead of continuing to bet the max table limit, it just resets you back to the starting 1 unit. And it looks like we only got capped at the starting the bankroll over once for this. Actually, no, twice. So we got capped here, going from 32 back down to 100, and we won at 139 hands. Okay, interesting. Let's do it again. Goal reached. Looks like we got capped here. Now, if this was programmed different, and I can program that if requested, instead of losing at 32, hitting the max table limit, starting back to 0, we could keep it at 32, or just continue to bet the max bet until you hit your profit number, and then reset it back down to 0. Or back down to 1 unit. So it looks like we only hit the table limit. We hit it twice. We hit it here. We get capped back to the first bet, or to a 1 unit bet. Okay, yes, we hit our goal at 130 hands. And again, we're starting with 6,300, and that's amount we're trying to win. So that's 12,600. Okay, let's hit it a couple more times. Okay, great. We won 123 hands. Okay, so it looks like this time we lost. Let's see. Yep, so at 73 hands, the bankroll's down to 2,900, not enough to make the next bet, so we lost. I think we won 4 and lost 1. Alright, so let's plug in the same data. So the goal is 6,300. The bankroll is the same. $100 starting betting unit. 5,000 for the max table limit. And 525 hands per shoe. So that's going to be 7 shoes. Is going to be 1 trial. Let's do 1,000 trials. And we're going to bet banker. It's supposed to be banker only. Do that until there's 50 chops, then we'll switch to banker again. Alright, so we're just going to run a banker only. Okay, let's see if we can get some data. Labels on this. 425. And we got a lot. Okay, so at the Martingale, what I find is you either win your goal. As you see, we hit the goal, but this is break even. You either win big or you lose big, which there's a lot of losses here. Okay, let's just add these up real quick. Let's make sure the data is correct. Let's just make sure we have 1,000 results. We do. Alright, let's call this a total win, which is going to be the summation of all the wins, which is just the one number. Total loss. Let's be the summation of all the times that we lost. Let's just turn this into a percentage. Equals 575 divided by 1,000. Okay, so alright, so we are it's a little bit small. Okay, so we won 42.5% of the time and we lost 57.5% of the time, which so that's pretty close to winning 40%, losing 60%. So you win 4 times out of 10, you lose 6 times out of 10. That sounds about right to me for the Martingale, which overall, if you're going to play 10 times, you're going to lose 6, which is probably going to be a tremendous hit to the bankroll. The first one is $1,400, but on a $6,300 bankroll, what is that, about a fourth of your bankroll? So we see that the risk is pretty high, so it's going to take a substantial hit to your bankroll. So the question is, will you win the 1 out of 4 times before you lose the 1 out of 6 times? Let's see if we increase the max table limit. Now for the max table limit, that's just going up 1 more Martingale, which really, we should change the variables to 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 8 plus, what is it, 16, 32, 64. So if we go up that 1 extra Martingale, the next bet, the 9th Martingale, the 64. So really, we should be betting with a $12,700 bankroll, so we should change our goal in bankroll. But let's just say that we were positive, we were winning, and when it came time to make this 9th bet, we actually had that amount in the bankroll. So without adjusting other variables. So if we were to, instead of just bet 8 Martingales, we were, or what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Martingales, we were to bet the 7th Martingale. So actually it looks like, so 390. this data out. You know, let's just take that out. Okay, let's grab some fresh data. Okay. Alright, so equals 390 divided by equals 610. Okay, so previous results I believe were 42.5% and what was it? 57.5%. And so it looks like without increasing the bankroll, what we do increase the table limits, we are essentially just taking on a little more risk, where if we have the money in the bankroll where we can make the 7th martingale, and the table limit allows us to bet that. It looks like we're just taking on more risk, which if you're betting from 3,200 to 64, you're on a losing streak. So the question is, you know, are you going to break your losing streak at the 7th time, or is it not your shoe and it is better to stop at the 6 martingale, which if you would have stopped at the 6, run the data, you're around 42%, taking on an extra risk. Looks like you were going to perform a little worse. Of course, taking on the 7th martingale, we didn't change the rest of these variables, so you know, how statistically significant is this? But just, George, if you have some comments, love to hear what you have to say. But yeah, the data this time, it definitely is coming out different than the last round. But thought it'd be a quick video to rerun this experiment, looking at table limits and the number of units put at risk versus number of units you're trying to win with your goal. And this is what the data comes out to be. I hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for more.